The woman, in order to avoid becoming empress, intentionally made herself look ugly on the day of the selection. Her hideous appearance instantly stunned everyone. The eunuch hastily waved his hand and told her to leave. The woman happily thought her plan had succeeded. She turned around and wanted to sneal out of the palace gate, but there was a scheming woman next to her. In order to highlight her own beauty, she had secretly bribed the eunuch, insisted on dragging the woman into the palace to serve as a foil. Little did they know that the woman was actually the emperor's deeply loved wife of many years, only because back then the woman had impersonated someone else's identity. She had always been by the emperor's side, going through life and death for the emperor, until the emperor ascended to the throne. When he wanted to make her the empress, she was afraid that her false identity would be exposed, so she fled the palace in the middle of the night. But the emperor searched for her for 3 whole years. Unexpectedly, after 3 years, her father brought her back to the capital, and she was forced to participate in the selection. In order to prevent the emperor from recognizing her, she had no choice but to make herself look ugly. Who would have thought that the moment the emperor saw her, he would be reminded of the person he loved the most? So he walked up to the woman and gently lifted her head with a fan. But after seeing the woman's appearance clearly, he turned and left, thinking he must have mistaken her for someone else. So the eunuch immediately told her to step down. At this point, the woman happily and hurriedly retreated, but perhaps she was too visibly delighted. She instantly hurt the emperor's pride. In a fit of anger, the emperor ordered on the spot for her to stay in the palace. Everyone was stunned. At this time, the woman still thought the emperor misspoke. She was about to open her mouth to ask for clarification, but discovered the emperor was pointing at her, saying stay. Instantly, the woman could no longer laugh. The woman never imagined she would be kept in the palace. What was even more deadly was that the makeup on her face would fall off with a single touch. So the entire night, she was paying attention to the emperor's movements. Before the emperor decided which concubine to visit, she didn't even dare take a bath, afraid that she would suddenly be summoned and not have time to apply makeup. But who knew the emperor visited over a dozen concubines, yet not a single concubine could make him stay, only because all the concubines coveted his power and status. This made the emperor miss his wife, who had shared weal and woe with him, even more. Seeing that there were only 2 palaces left before reaching here, the girl hurriedly sent someone to report, saying she was ill and could not attend to the emperor. She even specially sent someone to the scheming woman, reminding her not to wear blue clothes or a plum blossom hairpin, in order to let the scheming woman keep the emperor there. Only after arranging everything on both sides did the woman feel at ease to go take a bath. But the scheming woman thought the woman was playing tricks. She purposely wore blue clothes and put on a plum blossom hairpin. As a result, when the emperor saw her dressed like that, he directly punished her with confinement for a month. Angrily turned around and left. Only then did the eunuch reminded her her attire had offended the deceased princess. The scheming woman regretted it too late. Seeing that only the woman's place was left, the scheming woman didn't want to let her gain favor, so she bribed the eunuch to frame her. The eunuch hurriedly ran to the emperor and tattled, saying there was an adulterer in the woman's room. The completely unaware woman suddenly smelled a strange odor in the room. The next second, her maid fainted to the ground. Immediately after, a lecherous eunuch rushed in, but the woman was not one to be trifled with. She tied up the eunuch with her bare hands. Before she could even ask who was behind it, she heard that the emperor was coming. The woman instantly panicked. Just as she was in a fluster trying to apply makeup, the emperor kicked open the door and happened to see the woman's bare face. This time, the woman could no longer hide.